we did something kind of fun. We've been wanting to do it for a while, both of these things, but we have just, I guess, one, not brave enough to pull the trigger until now, and two, we just kind of found the perfect lineup. So let me introduce you to Lily, Peaches, and Martha, our new Nigerian dwarf goats. They are super tiny. Peaches and Lily are supposedly pregnant. They were with a buck for a couple weeks, I think like 3 or 4 weeks, and then we brought them home. And Lily's 5 and Peaches is 3, I think, 2 or 3. Oh, jeez. And then Martha here, the black one, she is not even 1 yet, so she is obviously not bred or anything, but we're hoping to maybe breed her this upcoming winter when she is 1. And then the guineas, all the chickens per usual. There's Frosty. Then we also got 3 bun buns. This is our buck. He doesn't have a name yet. One of our does. She also doesn't have a name yet. And then this one is a doe, and this one is Quinn. So Quinn is breeding age. I'm not exactly sure how old she is. And then our Californian and our New Zealand buck, they are both about 10 or so weeks. We built these cages. We literally just finished them yesterday. Well, they're not even finished yet. We have to cut holes for the J feeders so they can, you can feed them on the outside, and then we need to build a stand for them so that way they are not sitting on the ground. My plan is to keep them on the garden side of our property, which is in front of me, and then be able to use their manure throughout the whole garden season. These rabbits are also going to be our meat rabbits, so they are not just cute little fuzzy bun buns. They are going to help feed our family and mostly our dogs, which is why we got them. You know, with rabbits breed really fast and they give you one of the most abundant resources of meat on your homestead. Same with the goats. We plan on milking Lily and Peaches for some milk. Although we're probably not going to be able with just those two to replace the milk we buy from the farm that we go to. So as I was saying, the goats are also going to be for milk, but also hopefully for meat as well. So if we get bucks, they will more than likely become withers, and then we will probably butcher them when they are old enough. Got an egg? Thank you. So that's what they will be used for. And then our plan is to maybe buy a buck at this time next year so we can rebreed the girls. Okay, my son wants me to push him in his stroller, so I will be right back. So another huge thing about the goats is that goats are ruminant animals, so that means they have 4 stomachs. They produce different kinds of enzymes and other scientific things in their stomachs. But ruminants are really, really good for helping diversify the ecosystem because just the way that they're adding through their manure it back into the soil, it just helps build it, creates a more diverse ecosystem within that soil. They're able to add more carbon and a bunch of other benefits from ruminant animals, which is another reason why we got the goats. Eventually, we would like to add a family milk cow. I think that is our most ultimate goal. You stop. I don't want the helmet, no thank you. So adding a family milk cow means that we have to have good grass, good pasture, and we don't necessarily exactly have all those things right now. When we bought this land, nobody, or the people who were living here before us, they weren't farming it, raising animals on it or anything. It was just mostly all wildlife. There's actually, so again with the goats, there's actually quite a few of invasive species on the property that we need to manage and get rid of. Another big thing on our property is that this lower half where the chickens and the goats are, and all through back here, all of this area floods when we get a lot of rain. So last year it flooded, oh my gosh, it was crazy. We had like 4 feet of snow, and then it warmed up to like 48 degrees like a couple days later, and then it rained for like 4 days, I want to say, and this whole area was probably up to my knee in water. Like, it was crazy. So I'm hoping that by putting the chickens and the goats over here this summer, they were able to, one, help aerate the ground, especially the chickens because we just got the goats. But I'm hoping that they were able to aerate the ground more so that more water can flow down and through when it does rain. Another thing is that this shrub grass stuff, I'm not even exactly sure what, hi Zeke, what exactly of species that grass is. But again, you can tell where it floods in our property, the grass changes. So like, I don't know if you can really see, but right here it's like a tall brown grass, and then it switches, and then it goes back up, and then over on this side it's more grass and stuff again. So our biggest goal is to kind of mend this whole area so that when we do get a milk cow, it has grass and other plants that they can actually eat and thrive off of, and not just have to rely on grain and brought in hay. Zeke. Hey, gentle. We only have 3 acres, so it's not like we can actually grow, you know, like any of our own wheat or stuff like that for cows, or, you know, alfalfa. And again, because this area floods so bad, it's basically unusable. Like, it is not usable when it is flooded, which this summer, stop yelling, please.
Stop.
You stop.
You stop.
So this summer, it rained quite a bit, but the way we had the chickens set up was that, because it's basically like a bowl. So on one side it was dry, and then it would go down in the middle and it would flood there, and then the other side would be dry. So with the chickens, they did have quite a bit of space that was dry and functionable for them. But if you get, like, if we would have gotten a ton of rain at once, it would have been really bad and flooded. So like I said, our goal is to hopefully mend and take care of this whole side, because it's honestly about a whole acre of our property, which, having 3 acres, it's like, well, we kind of need all of the space that we can get for animals. And if we don't have this whole area, then we don't even have 3 acres. We have maybe 2, 1.5. So that's our ultimate goal, is to help this become more functionable for our needs. Like I said, because having a milk cow is our ultimate goal and dream. So yeah, hopefully with the goats and the chickens and the bunnies, it can all kind of start working its way back to a better ecosystem here. So yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. We also were thinking, because we need to build a pole barn, we're also thinking about probably putting it on this side somewhere anyway. So I'm not sure how that's gonna work. But again, I'm hoping with the right species, and then if we can get this like prickly type grass taken care of, I'm hoping that eventually we can plant over all of this whole area and actually add some good draining grasses and other native plants that are native to Michigan. So that's the goal. And then, hold on a second. These bushes right here, this one, that one, and they go all throughout this whole area. They are autumn olives, which is a highly invasive plant here in Michigan. These bushes, not only are they invasive, they also attract ticks. So they are highly invasive and they attract ticks, so I think I might have mentioned it in a video on here, or maybe I didn't and I only mentioned it on YouTube, or on Instagram, I mean. Zeke, come on. That we had some of the worst tick issues I have ever seen in all of my 28 years. It was so bad. Like, the dogs would come in covered in ticks. We would be pulling ticks off of them all the time. And then after we thought we got all the ticks, we would crawl into bed that night and there would be more ticks. And we would get into bed later that night and Elijah and I would both be pulling off more ticks throughout the whole night. Like, it was so bad. It was so disgusting. Definitely not cool. Like, I remember one day walking around the house and I found like a tick on the cabinet in the kitchen, like up high, on the upper shelves. And then I would find them crawling on the walls. They would be on the bed and the sheets. I literally would change our bed sheets at least like 4 times a week, just because I was so sick of the ticks. And at some point it's just like, well, I'm just gonna wash it and try to get rid of these ticks or something. I don't even know. So not only is the autumn olive bush a super invasive plant releasing up to 200,000 seeds a season, it has a symbiotic relationship with ticks. So overall, bad plant. Which again is why we got goats. I'm not sure yet if these goats will eat it. I'm hoping they do. If not, honestly, I will keep them still because they're good milkers. But I will get different goats because I need this bush gone. We actually, Elijah earlier this summer, I think it might have been beginning of spring even, or later spring, I can't remember, but he went out there and he cut so many of them down, and we got rid of a ton of them. But yeah, we didn't get rid of all of them. We just didn't have, the time while we were doing it. And now I've learned all this stuff. Like, I knew it was an invasive bush, but I didn't know how bad it was. I didn't know that they had a symbiotic relationship with ticks either. So yeah, now they gotta go. But again, if these goats don't eat the bushes, I'm thinking I might get borer goats. I think that's how you say it. Supposedly they eat a lot of like just shrubs and stuff like that. So I will see. We will see. I will try all the goats until I find one that eat these bushes. Ow! There's so many Asian beetles out here. They're horrible. They're also invasive insects. Since we're talking about invasive things, they are invasive insects. They bite. They look like ladybugs. They are not ladybugs, guys. Ladybugs do not stink. They do not bite. And I don't even think they swarm. But these things are so nasty. They bite, they smell, and they look exactly like ladybugs. And our whole property right now is just like swarmed to them. So another invasive thing that we need to get rid of. All right, I think that's all I've got for you guys today. Thanks for joining me in my rambles and coming out here, meeting my goats and my bunnies. Like I said, if you have name recommendations, I'm looking for 2 names, one for a buck and one for a doe. So if you got good names, leave them in the comments below, and then I'll let you know what we decide to name them. So that's about it. Thanks for joining me here on the farm.